Right, absolutely. With that, I'd like to thank you for joining us on NewsX World, sharing your perspectives with us. We leave that, and we shift our focus to some more news that we are tracking. Well, Canada and Mexico have pledged to deepen bilateral ties and strengthen their free trade pact with the United States during Prime Minister Mark Carney's visit to Mexico City. Carney and President Claudia Sheinbaum said that they would expand economic and security cooperation and remain committed to the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, which is up for review next year. Both leaders voiced optimism about making adjustments to boost competitiveness while also coordinating on border security and combating transnational criminal groups. Well, the trip, the first by a Canadian Prime Minister to Mexico in 8 years, comes as tensions with Washington and Trump's tariffs threat highlight the need for a united front. Carney stressed the importance of growing trade and investment between Canada and Mexico over the next 3 decades. Listen in to what both the leaders have to say.
Soy optimista, no solamente por convicción, sino porque creo que el tratado comercial Canadá, Estados Unidos, México, México, Estados Unidos, Canadá, va a prevalecer.
And we are both committed to our shared partnership with the United States. And we look forward to using the upcoming review of TMEC, USMCA, CUSMA, different acronyms for the same thing, to find ways to make it fairer and more effective. Bilaterally, Canada and Mexico complement each other's strengths, and we stand united in times of challenge and crisis.
Professor Madhav Nalapad, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, joins us from New Delhi, India. So thank you so much for your time on NewsX World. And I'd like to understand from you, Trump has imposed 35% tariffs on Canada and 25% tariffs on Mexico at a time when these tariffs have been imposed. How important does boosting bilateral ties between Canada and Mexico become important?
Well, the fact of the matter is that neither Canada nor Mexico can supplement each other. Where the US market is concerned, is by far larger than either the Canadian or the Mexican markets. So this is a sign that many countries in the world are coming together in the face of the tariffs imposed by President Trump. In the case of Mexico and Canada, in my personal view, I think, and frankly, the entire structure of tariffs as envisioned by President Trump is a throwback to an earlier period of the 1980s. And the 1920s, I'd like to say. And that resulted in the Great Depression of the 1930s. So in my personal view, the entire, tariff tantrum that the United States is showing is completely against the interests of the United States itself. You can see that job growth is slowing down sharply in the United States. You can see that unemployment figures are rising in terms of number of people who want, unemployment benefit, and large number of unemployed do not even get the benefit, so they don't even ask for it. So I think overall, there's no doubt that the tariffs have harmed the US economy very, very substantially. And also I can understand tariffs on an adversary country, a country that is threatening you, or threatening your lifelines, threatening your primacy in global affairs. But that's not Canada, that's not Mexico, that's certainly not India. So using tariffs against both friend and foe defy any geopolitical logic. And I hope President Trump goes back to a reset of the real Donald Trump. The Trump that he was when he was talking in a very reasonable way about geopolitical policy and about situation. And tariffs are, President Trump seems to believe that tariffs are like the snake oil that was used in the American Midwest more than 100 years ago. And snake oil was sold by snake oil salesmen as a cure-all for any disease. And frankly, no disease was cured, except that the salesman made his exit And when they were looking for a salesman to berate him for the lack of any effect on their own illnesses,
absolutely.
the salesman had gone somewhere else. So I think this tariff thing has to be stopped. And the sooner President Trump reverses himself on that, the better it will be for the United States, for its partners, and the worse for its adversary. The best gift that Donald Trump is giving China is to make the United States more and more look like China. So Xi Jinping can say, oh, we are not alone. We are there with the United States is also acting like us. It's also censoring, it's also punishing. And I personally believe that's a mistake on the part of President Trump. And I hope that very soon he understands that and he reverses course. Thank you.
Right, absolutely. With that, sir,